Two Jews are walking through a park and they have a debate about Jesus. This is not a joke. This actually happened. This is a debate between a Messianic Jew and just a regular Orthodox Jew, I guess. So you have one Jew that doesn't believe in Jesus, and then you have the other Jew who does. He's a Messianic Jew. Messianic Jews believe that Jesus is the Messiah. I haven't seen this. I've only watched the first couple of minutes. I'm actually going to start from right there when the conversation really does get started. Let's see the disconnects together. Let's see what the disagreement is and who's right, who's wrong.
What do you mean by a Christian? Someone who believes in Jesus?
Yeah.
That should not be involved with the Jewish people.
Not at all.
No.
Even though Jesus was Jewish, his followers were Jewish.
Abraham's mission was to
Real quick, I think you can tell which one is the Messianic Jew and which one is the regular Orthodox seemingly Jew. I think you can tell by the way that they're dressed.
smash the idols, and you're bringing the idols into our house.
But how do you see it as idol worship?
Because if you believe that a man is a god or that a man is a Messiah that clearly wasn't, there's many things that the Mashiach would have to do that none of them Jesus did.
Oh, he did plenty.
Bring the tribes back, bring peace to the world.
Yes, but as you know these things, that God reveals himself. He progressively reveals himself over time. He doesn't drop the entire.
Says the Mashiach will do that. And
That's right, and he will do it.
Okay, that's your belief. But you could understand why me, who knows Jesus didn't do that at that time, and you would agree with me that he didn't do that at that time, how could you be seen as a Mashiach?
Because he did fulfill prophecy.
Which prophecy did he fulfill?
Well, he was supposed to be born in Bethlehem.
So he's saying, how could he be the Mashiach, the Messiah? He says he fulfilled prophecy. The guy says, which one? He's born in Bethlehem. Let's see his answer.
Okay, so there's many people born in different places.
Okay, so he fulfilled prophecy. Which one did he fulfill? Born in Bethlehem. A lot of people are born in Bethlehem. Obviously, it's not about just one prophecy.
There's many people who
Yeah, but this is one.
But none of them are like actual.
He was supposed to come before the destruction of the second temple.
Okay.
According to Daniel 9, verses 24 to 27.
Okay.
Tribe of Judah.
Okay, all of our tribe is the tribe of Judah. The fact that you're giving me that shows that there's actually no foundation and basis, in my opinion.
He's only giving you 3. Give him a chance. You've asked him which prophecies. He's only given you 3. Don't be like, many people are born in Bethlehem. Many people are from the tribe of Judah. And again, notice how he doesn't address the born before the second temple destruction.
Respectfully, as a brother to brother, right? So for me, I look at Christianity as a belief in idolatry. At least they're believing in one idol and not many idols. So it's already better than polytheism.
The world, like Jesus, has brought the recognition of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to the world. And through Abraham, you mentioned Abraham. God told Abraham that he would make him, through his seed, a great nation, and that he would be a blessing to the entire world.
Sure,
and that's what I believe, that our Jewish people were on this earth to make God known to creation, and that God actually has a plan for the Gentiles as well as the Jewish people.
That I'll agree, but I'll tell you this, right? Someone can say the same thing and trying to bring us to worship Satan, right?
Yeah.
And say, well, we brought Satan, but also through Satan, we also brought all these other nice things. And so it's legitimate because they brought all those other nice things. So that argument to me doesn't hold water. For me, I believe that God is not one person, it's oneness. The infinite universe, time, space, everything is one Hashem. When we say Shema Yisrael Adonai Elonu Adonai Echad, we say God is one, not there is one God. So I believe in panentheism, right? And I think that Jesus was a leader of his time, whether it was good or bad, none of us were there. You believe it was good? I don't know, right? He could have been a great guy. He clearly was a rebel of some kind. He didn't like the status quo. He wanted to change things up. That's no doubt, right? He was a disturber of the Roman peace, which I support, right? Because the Romans were colonizing our civilization. But at the end of the day, he was killed. And once he passed away, we need to move on. And I think that a lot of the world took his life and turned him into a deity, which is why I see it as idolatry.
So I don't like the argument the Messianic Jew actually just gave, the guy who does believe in Jesus. He was trying to basically say, like, it's a net positive. Net positive, Jesus came to the world, good for Jews and all that. And the guy was saying, no, I don't believe it's a net positive because it's turned into idolatry on the part of so many people. If I were an Orthodox Jew, I'd probably have the same answer. That I wouldn't even say, as someone who does believe in Jesus, well, Jesus was a net positive for Jewish people. Net positive is almost like, it's like an insultingly weak way to describe the power of the gospel. It's a weak way to describe what Jesus did on the cross. Net positive? What do you know? It's a positive in the most extreme sense imaginable. Not just, I think it's brought about some better stuff. I can see why someone might want to make that lesser case to see if Jews can agree with it, but I really don't even think you need to undersell the gospel like that to get people to agree with it.
And I think, in my opinion, even though I love you as my brother, I think it's extremely harmful to bring these ideas for which so many Jews were burned resisting. And now you're bringing it back to us.
No, that's not true, because you can't judge a faith by its abuse. And if you know the teachings of Jesus, you would realize that it would lead to the loving of the entire world.
And by that logic, by the way, too, you can judge Judaism by its abuse of Christians.
lead to forgiving your enemies.
Yeah, but healing them, not just forgiving them. You have
Absolutely.
to help them heal from the situation. So for sure, I look at those who adopted Christianity over time, mostly by force, and realize that I'm not going to go and hate them and fight them.
Right.
I should show them that Hashem is one, and there's no intermediary thing in between us that should disconnect us from
But
Hashem.
the intermediary thing has been a Jewish thing since the beginning
How so?
of time.
How so?
Well, Moses was an intermediary. The
He
high
was a
priest
leader,
were.
but no one was praying to
No,
Moses.
the people
They were not praying
the
to
people
Moses.
on the no, right, but the people on the at Mount Sinai were not telling Moses, "Yo, we got this. We don't need you." They were trembling in fear. You go up on our behalf.
There's no problem with having
The
a
high
leader.
priests
No one
have
is
to
saying it's not a
atone for
leader.
this. Yeah,
But when you pray to Hashem,
Yeah.
there should be nothing disconnecting from Hashem. There should not be a Mary, a saint, a
And I agree with you.
or Jesus preventing us from getting. Now you agree with me because
Right.
you see Jesus as God.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
for you that's God. But I disagree. So you'd understand why for
Totally,
me.
totally.
it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
line.
absolutely. But have you noticed in the Tanakh that occasionally you'll see a figure that appears in human form talking with Abraham, Jacob, Gideon, Manoah, in a human form, eating with them, having his feet washed, walking from place to place,
there's
speaking in hold on,
angels,
speaking in the
there's
first person, speaking as the first person as God, and doing things that only God can do. Jacob says, "I've seen God face to face, and my life has been delivered." They were expecting to die when
But
they
you're
saw
assuming
God.
you saw Jesus.
I didn't say Jesus.
No,
I
but
just
you're
said God,
assuming
a physical manifestation of God.
Doesn't mean you need to see a physical thing. You can see in many ways. You can see someone's actions. You can see someone's spirit.
I'm just
you
going
can
by
see-
what the text
Right.
says.
So you're translating it literally, and I think a lot of Christians, maybe not you because you're a Jew, they translate it through the English mistranslations, and they interpret things with different words that were used at different
Right,
times.
right.
So I hope that you're using the Hebrew.
Yes, we
right?
study in Hebrew
Of
in
course.
Israel.
So I hope that you're using the actual original Hebrew and getting to the conclusions through the Hebrew and not through the others, because then of course you're already using.
Yeah, but I do agree though that you can have.
Hold on, see, that guy didn't make an argument there. He just casted doubt on the guy's study method. That's all he did. He just said, you might not be studying the right way. You might not have good study habits. You might not know Hebrew. And the guy says, oh, yeah, I am. But the guy didn't make an argument. He just said, the conclusion that you're coming to, that might not be what the Hebrew says. But he didn't give some kind of a counter argument and say, that can't be what the Hebrew says. Or this is why that isn't what the Hebrew says. He just says, you might not know Hebrew. The guy says, yeah, I do know Hebrew. Okay. And then they just move on.
Good translations, because otherwise
Sure.
God would be
I mean,
saying,
if you
God would
open
be
that
saying, like
to
a lot of Muslims will say, you can't come to God without knowing Arabic. You can't understand our faith.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
Not- right.
I don't either.
But you can have a Tanakh that's properly translated from our Hebrew and from our sages, and not take it from Christians.
Yes,
who are
but you have
forcing it.
Tanakh that's translated from Hebrew to Aramaic, from Greek to Hebrew.
Right. It depends who's doing the translation. If
Yeah.
the people who preserve the Torah,
Yeah.
who kept on the scepter, as Yehuda was supposed to keep the scepter, not from the outside,
Yeah.
then obviously from the outside it's going to be a little bit corrupt and most likely intentionally corrupted to
Yeah.
fulfill agendas. So I think the translations need to come from our people, me and you. There are those translations that exist. And again, I respect your right to do what you want. I still see you my brother, but I hope that you will, do a tikkun and ridding yourself of idolatry and come back to Hashem, because
I kind of don't like that you should only use translations that are done by people who are Jews, Orthodox Jews. They don't believe in Jesus as the Messiah. I want my translation to be done by someone who just wants to be faithful to the original Hebrew and Greek. That's who I want to do my translation. I don't know why you would say I want it to be someone who agrees with me. Because when you say it has to be driven by this one ideology, this one thought process, this one religious system of beliefs, it seems to me you're inherently going to veer away from the original meaning of the word, especially with if you have the presupposition that your system is completely correct and there's nothing left for you to learn. Then you're setting yourself up for a mistranslation, because you're going to mistranslate something that you might even be wrong about. But you're going to say, well, that can't be what that word means because this is what my doctrine is. It should be translation first, and then my ideas second when it comes to translation. Let me know what you think, though. I'm thinking about this right now. I may be wrong about this. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts.
Hashem is one. It doesn't have to be other things as well.
Rudy, thanks, bro. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and hearing my
You should know it's all
perspective.
love. It's all love.
Yeah, man. Love you, bro.
You too.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry if I interrupted a little too much, but that's kind of what I do. If you want to watch the original video, you can watch the original video. All the Orthodox guy was doing, and again, I'm assuming he's Orthodox. I imagine that he is. All he was doing was just casting doubt on things. He wasn't really providing a great counter argument. He just said, well, I don't really think that you're studying the Hebrew, but he didn't give an argument from the Hebrew. Or he said, which prophecies did he fulfill? The guy starts to give prophecies, and he just goes, oh, well, I mean, that's it. And he didn't give the guy a chance to give any more prophecies. There are so many prophecies, like into the hundreds, that Jesus Christ fulfilled. All he did was just try to cast doubt on things, and even his attempt to cast out was very weak in my view. But let me know what you think. What do you think about the conversation? What do you think about the subject itself? And especially when it comes to translations, should it be driven by your system of belief, or should it just be driven by your understanding of a language and how those words would be translated for today? Let me know what you think. I love you. God bless you. I will talk to you soon. Oh, consider supporting the channel on Patreon, by the way. The link is in the description below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Take care. Goodbye.